everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 18 of Spy Family. And man, I've really enjoyed these last few episodes. I really like Spy Family when it has a good combination of physical humor and adorableness. And the last few episodes have had exactly that. So it's been great. So I kind of made a boo-boo. I had some notes to tell y'all. I had gathered up some notes, and then I was purging my notebook of some old notes today, and apparently I accidentally ripped out the page that had the notes on it, and threw it away. So that's where I'm at today. So I unfortunately lost most of my notes, so I'm trying to remember what all I had wrote down. But I did want to make note that several people, including Sarah Linda, including Beatrice Oliveira, including some other people had noted, Ashley Penn, had noted that Yours Kitchen is actually a chapter in the manga that was adapted. It wasn't a bonus chapter. It was kind of taking place after Bond joins the family, because there was the whole thing with Loid being in the bathroom for so long and Yor felt bad about it. So that makes sense. And then Frankie's story was an extra, and then the omelet rice was an extra. I can't remember if it was Ashley Penn or Beatrice noted that the producers are apparently putting together a lot of the extras into these episodes, which is fine. I'm good with that. The fact that this is taking place episode 13 and there's 25 episodes to the series, we still have 8 episodes left. So they still have plenty of time to do like some episodes with some extras in it and then come out with a final arc to end the season. That's totally fine. I'm cool with that. Apparently there's one extra that hasn't been animated yet. They didn't tell me what it was. Thankfully, they didn't spoil it, but they said it's really funny. It's not been animated yet, so their fingers are crossed that it will get there. And my fingers are crossed too, because that would be really exciting. I really like that. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure where this is going to go this episode. The last few, I really like Anya and Damien's, like, their banter back and forth. It was really great. Becky is to be feared. she may be a villain or a villainess origin story as well, just like Anya. And then, that was the other thing. The other thing I wanted to note is that Henry Henderson, several people noted, like all across the board in the comments, that it is likely that Henry had to substitute teach because he hit the one headmaster at the very beginning of the series. And I was like, oh, yeah, that would check out. That would make a lot of sense. Or Henry, just teaches one class a day and has nothing else to do. So substitute teach, why not? So I thought that was really funny. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this second core, especially the last several episodes. And not that I don't enjoy the spy antics with Loid and Yor in them, but there's just something about the comedy of Spy Family that's what I liked about it to begin with. And so I don't mind it getting darker and more serious, but I watch a lot of dark, serious shows on my channel, so I come to Spy Family for the wholesomeness and the humor. And the last several episodes have given us that, so that's been good. And the other thing, I'm remembering notes as I get through this, is that apparently Camilla and Dominic are not married. She's just dating him. Girl, I would secure that, because Dominic he's so nice to you. You guys are clearly made for each other, and you need to get on that. So I really like these episodes, though. I think that's all the comments I really had that were for the most part for these episodes. But so I apologize if I didn't mention your comment, but I had a whole sheet in this notebook, and then I was like, did I purge that? I did. So oops. But yeah, so I'm really excited, though, to get into episode 18. I can't believe that we're really, I guess we started with episode 13, so we had 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, this is halfway through. After this episode, we'll be halfway through the second core, if you can believe it. So I am excited to see what's going to happen, though. Will it be more antics with Anya and Damien? Will we go back to Yor and Loid? That's the thing these last episodes have given me. I have no clue where we're going with everything, and that's okay. So, with that being said, we're not going to waste any more time. I'm ready to start this. I hope you all are too. But we are going to start episode 18 of Spy Family. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. This was so cute, but these last episodes, like I said, they have been hilarious. I have loved the last few episodes. They've been so funny. And Daybreak, oh my god, we'll talk about Daybreak. But yeah, so interestingly enough, I do think the silver-haired woman, I forget about her till we get to the ED, and then I'm like, yeah, we've not met her yet, but we still have 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, we have 7 episodes left, so I'm thinking that maybe we'll have another like episode next week that'll be related to this, or maybe we'll start a new arc next week and she'll be introduced in that arc. So I'm very curious about her character, but I don't want to know anything about her. I want to be completely surprised, and y'all have done an amazing job of not spoiling me so far, so that's always really good. But yeah, this episode was so cute. What I'm really happy about is that they did not have Anya. There was a brief moment when they were introduced, when Henry was introducing the idea that the top 2 scoring students in each grade would receive a Stella. That what got me was that for a split second, you just want Anya to get into the top, but realistically, that's not going to happen because Anya is not book smart. She's just not. And she doesn't exactly have the best motivation or has had the best teaching because, I mean, Yuri kind of gives up at some point too and wasn't teaching her the right stuff to begin with. But Loid doesn't have the patience to teach, and not every parent is a good teacher. Like my parents, they were kind of like, you're on your own. I remember sitting at the kitchen table in 6th grade doing the math, and my dad was like, yeah, you can't ask me questions anymore. And I was like, no! And so he's like, you're on your own. And so I kind of had to do a lot of self-teaching because my parents were like, we just can't help you. It's just, we're not teachers. That's not what we can do. They could help out with like little things like spelling and things like that. But there were other subjects that are like, we've not been in school for this subject for years. We don't know how to help you. And that's so true with other parents. So I don't think it's Loid and yours fault that they can't help Anya get it down because it's hard. Some parents can't. It's just not in their wheelhouse. And they can't, I mean, I would have hired a tutor a long time ago for Anya, but Loid's kind of in a pickle because he's like, I can't really hire a tutor because I'm a spy. I don't want somebody snooping around and getting involved with our family that could potentially, pass on information to the wrong party or could become a liability if someone catches on that we are tied to Twilight or whatever. So I can see why Loid doesn't want to hire a tutor because there's too much liability, too much jeopardy. And so Yuri is a great idea as a tutor, and I love we finally got to see him and Anya interact. In the last episode, I was like, I want to see them interact, and then I'm glad we finally got to it, but Yuri is just like, nope. Even he like gave up. And so for Anya, I do like what Yuri told Anya though, where he was like giving her some motivation, saying, look, you have to be self-motivated. You have to want this. And you have to have a reason behind studying, right? You have to have a motivation to do well in school, whether it's getting good grades just because you want to get good grades and that's the type of person you are, or if you're making someone proud, or if you're trying to help out someone or help yourself, better yourself, or get more opportunities for something. Like there has to be a reason you're doing it. Otherwise, you're not going to want to put in the time and effort for it. And so Yuri's big reason was his sister. That was the reason he was doing everything, was to better her. And Damien is doing it to get his father's attention. So Anya needs a motivation, and she finally gets it where she wants to help Loid succeed in his mission. And so she decides that's going to be her push. And that's great. I'm glad she finds it. But oh my gosh, this episode. And so Becky's like, oh man, don't tests make you nervous, Anya? And Becky's such a great character. She's so realistic. She's just like, I get test anxiety like lots of people do. I could take tests, but I never like them. And even when I teach, I don't give out a lot of tests. A lot of my assignments are written based because I just don't like tests. I don't think that having someone memorize something for 5 seconds is a good standard of their knowledge. I would rather you illustrate that in a paper or a report or a discussion where you can demonstrate that you understand the concept. Testing you whether you can memorize it in 5 days and then forget it. That's not my style of teaching. I don't like it. But Anya, she's like, no problem. I've been studying hard lately. I'm like, have you, Anya? You have not been studying hard. And then she gets it. And she's like, yes. And then I love that Henry's just like, 13, huh? Not elegant. You're going to have a supplementary lesson. I like, though, that Anya was not the only one in the supplementary lesson. There was somebody else there. Someone else failed. But God, have you seen the handwriting on her signature? Girl, it's pretty bad. And she's like, I love she just looks up at him like, you mean what, you big meanie? I have to do supplementary lessons? Oh my God. And Damien's like, oh. And his face! Damien has the, how'd you get that? He has the little cheeky grin. Damien, but even when he has a cheek grin, there's like the blush on his cheeks, like he used to being like flirty back with her. There's so much potential with Damien and Anya. And he's like, I got a 91. And she's like, That is a flawless impression, Lord Damien. You got how stupid she looks down perfectly. Oh my god. I want them to be in high school, and I want to see this. So, Hoshu, supplementary lessons. And I can't exactly read what's on the board, but Anya's not the only one. She's like, I hate the second son, but if I read his mind during history exams, I can get good scores. Anya, I wasn't joking. I think Anya could become a villain when she grows up. She's got the face for it. I'm like, oh no. Like, her expressions are straight up a villain's. Like, he's like, what are you laughing at? Like, there's nothing, she looks sinister. You get an extra assignment as punishment. Oh my gosh. It's like, the teacher was mean, so I'm getting home late. And Mr. Moon is peeking out to say hello. So, this whole thing about the lunar eclipse, just this whole deal, where she goes home. I like that. I am a little sad that nobody was waiting outside for her in the dark when she got off the bus. I'm like, it's dangerous out there. I wouldn't let a kid walk all the way up to the house by themselves. I'd be waiting on that bus. And he's like, what? Especially since she had to stay late, but oh well. And she's like, how much of Mr. Moon will be out in 2 weeks? And he's like, oh, the lunar phase. He's like, well, it'll be a new moon, meaning it won't be out at all. And she's like, oh no, I knew it. And he's like, your exams are in 2 weeks. He's like, well, good, we'll start studying then. It's fine. I'll go over any parts you don't understand. And she's like freaked out because we somehow find out in the 11th hour that her telepathic powers have a weakness. What? That Anya, the super telepath who saved the world, has her weakness. This is her villain story. She's like, even I have a weakness. And apparently it's that the guys in the lab called it an eclipse or something, saying that whenever the moon goes away, she can't use her powers. And so the crazy thing about this is, and I wonder if this is foreshadowing for something, because it shows her like standing there in the darkness with the light shining beside her, and there's like sparkles. In the OP, which we don't get in this episode. We didn't get an OP. Crazy enough. We don't get an OP in this one. But yeah, she in the OP was running through a dark room without any moonlight. So I wonder if later on, like in the final arc, she's not going to be able to use her powers and is going to need to like save someone or something. I don't know. There was a little bit of foreshadowing this episode that I want to talk about, and that was the first one. The idea of her standing there in the darkness. I'm like, is there going to be something in the last arc that she's going to be without her powers and have to do something like based on intuition or something? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, apparently her mind powers go away when there's a new moon. And she's like, I can't use my telepathic powers on the day of the test. That's going to be a problem. She's like, I'm facing my biggest challenge ever. And she's like, Bond, help me. And all Bond can think about in the future is what they're having for dinner. Again, she predicts what they're having. And Loid's like, wow, how'd you know? Did you take a peek in the fridge? The fact that she gets away with that is amazing. She's like, we're having Papa's Hamburg steak. And she eats the steak, falls asleep, and forgets to study. And I love her reaction when she wakes up. She's like, I passed out. Also, it is not fair that Loid gets to walk around in that damn white t-shirt. It is not fair. I was like, girl's freaking out about her tests and studying, and he's walking around in that white tight t-shirt. It's not fair. He's like, well, that's why I suggested that we study yesterday. But he's like, I'm off today. They let me take a nap. I don't have any spy duties, so I can help you. Aw. And she's like, I just love that Anya's like, And it's just not working out. He's like, her midterms cover 4 subjects, meaning she can receive up to 4 bolts at once. But that also means, I love that Loid's like, I have long given up the possibility of her getting 4 Stellas. Oh no, he just knows it's not going to happen. He's like, but combined with her finals, she could get 8 and be expelled. Luckily, now we know she's not going to get 8. She's not going to get expelled. Good. But yeah, he's like, she could receive 8 bolts. Yeah. I need to make sure that she doesn't get expelled before I sneak into the social gathering. So yeah, to prevent... So I guess at this point, I think Loid has maybe given up on the idea that she is going to be able to get into the social gathering, and he's just going to try to use her to find intel to figure out the details so he can go. I think at this point he's like, she is not going to be an Imperial Scholar or an Imperial Scooter, as she calls. He's like, so that's not going to work. The funny thing is both him and Yuri had the same ideas about raising her base academic knowledge. And he's like, and then that'll lead to the social gathering. Again, I love Loid, but he goes, so this obviously becomes this. I'm like, Loid, not everybody gets things easily like that. So telling someone this obviously becomes that is a little condescending to tell a 5-year-old. Like, you gotta phrase it a little differently for it to be effective, but okay. And of course, Anya, she can't concentrate because he's like going off thinking in his head, and she's like, I can't focus because I'm trying to hear him too. And he's like, I can't figure out what's so hard for her. What's so hard is that it's hard for her to study around Loid because she's trying to read his mind and see what he's thinking, and his brain's going like a mile a minute, and she can't focus, right? So she almost needs to, I think when she studied on her own and was self-motivated, it was a lot better because she didn't have all of the distraction of the white noise from everyone else around her. So that may be what she has to do. She might have to just study like that, and that's where we go to from here. If it works, right? He's like, I can't figure her out. And then Yor. I like that Yor asked Yuri to come over and be her tutor. Like, hey, I asked him to come over and tutor, and he said he would. And he said he'd be really happy. He seemed rather optimistic about it. And so Loid's like, yeah, sure. He's like, and she's like, Unky. And so then he comes over and he's like, Yahoo! Sister, I'm here! Yuri's fashion is wonderful. I love his trench coat with his black shirt and his little apple hair. And that's when he's like, he's ready to give Yor a hug, and Yor's standing right next to Loid. She's like, oh, welcome, Yuri. And he's like, it's been a while, Yuri. And he's like, maybe we should permanently leave out the happy married couple set. He's like, maybe we should always leave it out just in case if he shows up. And then Yuri's like, what are you doing here, Loid Forger? I love that he's like, go to work on your day off. It's the animosity between them is wonderful. And the fact that it's Phlox VA, I'll never get over it, ever. And so Anya has never met Yuri before. And she's like, this is my younger brother, Yuri, Miss Anya. He's like, this imp is the child of the accursed forger. And she's like, yes, I'm Papa's child, Anya. So yeah, and she's like, pleased to meet you. And he's like, is he secret police? Is he scary? And so we go into Yuri's brain. Oh my God. I wanted to see what all he was saying. And so we have, Sis was dazzling the other day, and she's still dazzling today. Sis is basically a goddess. But the things in his mind, maybe I'll kill Loid Forger and take Sis back. I miss Sis's cooking. I got to see Sis today. What a blessed day. Sis's outfit is so stylish. I was about to die from loneliness since I hadn't seen Sis in a week. Oh God, she looks great with a kid next to her too. Oh my God. And then Sis. It just says Sis with like 1,000 eyes. Oh my God. Sis. Oh my God. Now introduce yourself. Oh my God. And then I love that Anya's like, oh God, you're even worse than my papa. I was about to die from loneliness because I hadn't seen my sis in a week. Oh, Yuri is messed up in the head. He's like, I just got heartburn. Anya, oh my God. And so anyway, Yuri, like Loid's like, oh, how have you been lately? And he thinks it must have been pretty hectic. Like they both rib each other, both Loid and Yuri, they kind of rib each other. They're like, oh, how are things at the summit? And he's like, are you making fun of my job? Like he's like, the Secret Service must have realized the foreign minister was Twilight. Like the fact of the matter is that Loid and Yuri were side by side facing each other without knowing it, and now they're here talking about it without each other knowing it. It's absolutely wonderful. And then Yuri, is he mocking us? Oh my God, because of the terrorist attack? And Yuri's like, and he's like, don't you think you're going to ruin my reputation in front of my sis, you foul man? And he's like, I need to show off. I need to be on my guard. So yeah, it's just like, yeah, Yuri thinks he needs to show off. And of course, Loid is on the defense. 24/7. And Anya's just like, a spy versus the secret police. Exciting. Yes. She's like, she's so into this, right? She's having the time of her life. Unky doesn't know Papa's true identity. Papa wins. So yeah, that's the thing. Loid knows that Yuri's in the Secret Service, but Yuri doesn't know Loid's identity. So technically, Loid wins in this. I just love how excited Anya is. And then she's so excited, and Loid's like, look, I'm going to leave and somehow go do work. He goes shopping. Okay, go shopping. I was like, Loid, this is your day off. Don't you dare go work. He's like, but he says, now I have time to take care of another mission. I'm like, Loid, you just said you were taking the day off. No. And of course, Anya's like, but the showdown. Oh, this girl. So, biology of Yoiko. Biology for good boys and girls. Okay. And so Yuri's like, I came here because my sister asked me to. Why must I bother with this dopey-faced gremlin? Oh my god. And so he gets her to try to solve this problem. He's like, you need to stay with sis every day. You get to stay with her, you greedy little imp. Oh my god. And Anya's like, what did I do? I'll show her how tough society can be. And she got it right because she read his mind. But then Anya realizes, oh wait, that might have been a bad idea, because if he thinks I don't need his help, then I'm screwed because I can't cheat on the test. I need to take this seriously. I like that her taking it seriously is not reading minds. And then she says it's all a fluke. And he's like, well, of course it was a fluke and you guessed the answers. It would be inconceivable otherwise. Which makes sense in hindsight that it's a good thing Loid didn't change the answers, because it would look highly suspicious if Anya, who has failed everything so far, made higher than barely passing. Like, it would be sus for sure. And so he's like, that's wrong. He's like, how dense are you? I'm like, that's really mean, Yuri. And when Yor defends her, like, I do agree with some people in the comments that they say Yor is way too lenient on Anya, which is true. Yor is far too lenient. She kind of like, when she, at the very end, when she has like 430s, and she's like, that adds up to 100. I'm like, Yor, you need to get on to her a little bit. However, I do think that, you know, calling her dumb, telling her dense is not the right answer either. And she's like, I am taking it seriously. And Yor's like, teach her more gently. And she's like, I don't want Miss Anya to get expelled. And that's when Yor goes, she remembers Anya saying she wants to go to school. And then, of course, Loid's confession of it being his late wife's wish, she's convinced that Anya needs to stay in. She's like, I'm counting on you, Yuri. And, of course, Yuri is like 100% in love with her. So he's all about it. He's like, but her basic knowledge is really bad. Also, the shirt that he's wearing, on the pocket, there's a little eye with a thing that looks like the Y symbol. Why does he have a t-shirt on that has the Y symbol? Why? What? I just now noticed that. His shirt has the Y's eye on it. What the hell? Okay, we're gonna just ignore that for now. Just act like it's no big deal. Why does this shirt have the Y symbol on it? How curious. Okay. And Anya says she'll do her bestest. She wants to become an imperial scooter and become really important so she can feed Mama lots of yummy foods. Well, now Yuri is like, what an angel! His view completely changes. He's like, this child is a saint. She wants to help my sister out. And his expression is so wonderful. Where did this angel come from? And what in the world is an imperial scooter? So yeah, so Yuri is like, instantly, the moment that Anya says she wants to help out Yuri is instantly taken. That's all it took. And Yor's like, I'll prepare some tea snacks. And she's like, she's so considerate sister. No, calm down. This is the daughter of that vile sister stealer. Don't let her fool you. If she gets high marks due to my tutelage, then sis will say, I love you, Yuri. I'll instruct you. Fine. So he tries to actually tutor her for real. And it does not exactly go as planned. He's like, it's important that you understand why you got it wrong. So that's good. Don't think too hard. Just concentrate on this verb. Like, Yuri's not a bad teacher. Not really. And Yor remembers how he helped her. He wanted to help her. And Yor was not very book smart, right? She's just freakishly strong. And so then Yuri explains to Anya what motivated him to become someone that was studious. He said that he wasn't strong growing up, and so being smart was the way that he could help his sister out. If he understood language, he could become a lawyer or something like that. And he said getting an answer right made him feel good, as if he'd grown a centimeter. He says, if I worked hard in language, I could become eloquent like a journalist or a lawyer and make the world that Sis lives in a better place. If I worked hard in chemistry and bio, then I could understand like the body and pharmaceuticals and heal my sister from anything that was wrong with her. And then if I worked extra hard in math and physics, then I could help build a stable life. So that's how his kid brain worked, right? He's like, in the end, I ended up in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but it's a way that I can still help my sister. And then Anya's response, he says, an ancient wise man once said that knowledge is power. She doesn't hear knowledge, she hears no leash. If you want to become worthwhile, then you have to unleash your brain's potential by studying. So that's interesting because he said that, knowledge is power, but you have to unleash your potential. And Anya, it just like went in one ear, got jumbled up, and came out as unleashing. And then all she heard was no leash is power. She's like, oh. And he's like, no, that's not it. And she's like, oh, so if I study, I can make medicine. And he's like, yes. And make rockets, of course, and conquer the world. And he's like, wait, what? So yeah, Anya is bound and determined to become the villain of this story by the end of it. And so he's like, this test will do right in front of you, and instead you have to envision yourself becoming successful in the future. And it just, what I love is like they study and study and study, and they're both on the ground, like they've studied so hard. It's hilarious. They've studied so hard, and it's absolutely wonderful. And I want to get a picture of them in that pose because it's really, really cute. And he's like, you did it, Anya. We've worked so hard. We've worked so hard. And he's like, have you mastered the grammar lesson yet? She's like, what's grammar? The humor in this episode is amazing. This is a total waste of time. The humor in this episode, the comedy, is absolutely golden. I absolutely loved it. But both Loid and Yuri are like, we need to be stronger. Loid's like, I have to make sure I'm strong to protect my family for this mission. And Yuri's like, if I was strong enough, I could have captured Twilight, but I was fooled by him. So he has to go and do his own research. But Anya, she passes on the snacks. I love that Yuri comes back in to get some of the snacks and then promptly barfs them up in the hallway. Glad he didn't do it in their apartment. But Anya realizes, she's like, if I had studied and been smart enough and knew how to disable the bomb, I could have helped my dad even more. She's like, And that motivates her to study. And so I love the look on Loid's face when he's like, wait a minute, world languages. He's like, foreign languages aren't on her midterm though. Why has she been studying this? And I just love his face. His face is like, we're doomed. So yeah, it's the day of the midterms. Anya's like, I do love Anya's boundless optimism. She's like, I've got this. I'm like, girl, how you can be so confident is beyond me. But she's confident because Loid, she thinks, is going to tamper with the exams to get them a better grade. Now, it is a good point that Loid brings up that there are parents and stuff, and actually the teachers bring it up too, that there are parents that will try to buy better grades, and there are others who will try to tamper with them. And Lloyd's like, it happens all the time, but I'm going to get Anya's to where she's not failing, right? And so I love that in Lloyd's mind, he pictures Anya, how Anya pictures Damien in her mind, with like the eyes going the opposite directions, and she's like, I got this, and it's like supposed to be kind of dumb. Oh my God. And Lloyd's like, she's doomed. There's no doubt about it. Like, Loid is so concerned. I love it. But, oh my God, his disguise was perfect, but he just didn't see daybreak coming. And I love that this amateur spy was hired to alter Desmond and his brother Demi, to forge and alter their grades. And Loid does something nice. He changes them back to what they were, effectively giving Damien the Stella, right? Because he didn't want them to get expelled either. That would ruin the mission. So it is interesting to note that there are people actively working against the Desmond brothers. So I wonder if that's going to become a thing in the future that Anya can help Damien with, that him and his brother might be in danger if there are other families trying to sabotage them. But oh my god, the Daybreak guy, him just rolling around, like just totally conspicuous, and Loid being like, "What are you doing?" Like, he's the worst spy, the worst. And his eyes kind of look like Loid's. That's the worst problem. I wonder if he comes back in the future, if Yuri will accidentally confuse him and Loid as Twilight and Daybreak. I wonder if that will happen. That would be absolutely hilarious, because they kind of look similar, right? A little bit. But oh my god. The one thing that is kind of crazy is that I feel like maybe Loid set himself up to get hit by Daybreak so that he could sneak in as well and be left there and then go to the test whenever Daybreak was done. But oh my god. But this guy, he like monologues. He like has the dramatic pose. He's like, "I'm going to surpass Twilight with my powers." And Twilight's like, "What the hell?" But yeah, he goes in there and alters Damien and Demetrius's grades. And when Loid calls him out for it, and is like, "Dude, don't spare my life." He's like, "Oh, I'll spare your life. I want you to tell the world about this." He is the worst spy, to the point where Loid gets aggravated on his behalf and tries to help him. That's the scary thing. Oh my god. I love that Loid is just so done with this by the time that Daybreak leaves. And so we have the test scores. He's like, who in the world was he? Are the Desmond brothers' grades that much in danger that they have to have a fool like him take care of them? But it was the opposite. We have Damien. Now, Damien's name is not spelled quite as nicely as Demetrius's. They must have been business rivals or political enemy. He's like, I can't have them expelled. So Loid takes the extra time to change the erased answers to what they once were, copying the handwriting. So yeah, they're all done. They're both quite intelligent, especially the older one. He got perfect scores in almost every subject. So Demetrius is very intelligent. He's clearly the poster child, the firstborn that has like the spotlight, and Damien is trying to catch up, or at least share the spotlight with his brother. Okay. On the other hand, with Anya, and then he looks at her scores and decides not to change them, to leave them as they are. And what I love by this is they all go to see their scores. I can't believe they can see that high up, but they're like, let's go look. And 11th overall, like out of the entire school, he's like, you're 11th. And Damien's like, oh. And it says there that he is 11th overall, 94 in history, and placed second in our grade. All right. So he's like, you got a Stella. Brilliant, Lord Damien. And Damien's so happy because that's what he wanted. So he got it in history. I thought it'd be math, but he got it in history. Cool. Which is interesting that he got top marks in history. I wonder what Anya's top mark was out of all of them. And Becky's in 46, so that's not terrible. Not too bad, right in the middle. And then I love that one boy. I think it was Emil. He's like, start from the bottom. Oh my god. And she's like, I already know where I placed because of my father. Papa said in his mind that he went to check. And then Becky finds her. And sure enough, Anya Forger. She's not last. 213th. She's like, oh, don't worry about too much. Better luck next time. And Anya's like, and then I like that the three boys are like, ugh. But Damien did not insult her. He said, good for you, I guess. Apparently you didn't fail. Still being nice despite everything. And he's like, I can't even laugh. Let's go. And she says, I didn't get a single bolt. Oh. And Anya's so happy in that moment. She's like, I can help my father. She's like, And And then what she pictures is that Loid's gonna be like, well done, little girl. Now Papa's mission will be somewhat safer. And she's actually pleased. And I love Damien's like, you're okay with that? Like, even with that rank, she's smiling. And then Becky's like, you're so positive, Anya. This is wonderful. She's like, what a role model. But she's like, Papa, I worked hard on my tests. And Loid's like, so, okay, I want to see which score she got the highest. She got the highest in history, too. Only she got a 32. She got a 31 in math, a 30 in language. She got a 32 in history and got a 31 in something else that looks kind of like math as well. But her highest score was in history as well. Maybe her and Damien will make history together one day. Perhaps. Maybe. See, it's a terrible dynamic duo because one day Damien with his super intelligence and know-how and prowess and political connections and Anya's telepathic abilities, it could be a very deadly combination. It could be very dangerous. How can you be proud? And she's like, this isn't how it went in my head. I love how honest Anya is. She's like, yep, nope, didn't go well. He's like, I'm going to have to be stricter before her next midterm. And yours like, your points together add up to be 100. And he's like, yeah, we don't get to see what the other one was. And he's like, then again, she did avoid failing on her own. She is working hard to do the best she can. And because of that, the mission is safe for now. And so he says he should probably thank her. And then Anya's like, oh, look at me. And he's like, what's that smirk for? Why aren't you reflecting on your mistakes? And so Stella needed to become an Imperial Scholar. 7. Tonitrus bolts until expulsion. 7. Knowledge +5. Oh my gosh. So we're still in the same spot. We've not been kicked out yet, but we've not gotten any closer to being an Imperial Scholar. And now Damien has a Stella too. Damien has a Stella and Anya has a Stella. Okay. All right. But I'm guessing that his brother Demetrius already got like a ton of Stellas because he like scored nearly top marks. And then poor Daybreak got fired. But my legend has just begun! Oh my god. I want his legend to begin. Oh my god. So yeah, so that was this episode. It was really, really good. I liked it a lot. It was actually 100% hilarious. And I will probably go back and rewatch this episode because especially the parts with Yuri and Anya, they're just so freaking good. The voice actor for Yuri is one of my favorite voice actors, I've come to realize. And so every time he's on screen now, I just get so excited. I'm like, yes, Kensho Ono is just, he's absolutely wonderful. And I want to watch all the things with him in it. So, but yeah, I'm glad Anya didn't fail. I'm glad that we rounded out this entire thing in this episode. When they were talking about the midterms, I thought this was going to be a 2-parter, if I'm being honest. I thought it was going to be a 2-parter, and we would set Anya up with, like, the Rocky montage and training. But I guess we already did the Rocky montage with the dodgeball tournament, so that would be kind of repetitive. But, yeah, I really was expecting this to be a 2-parter, and for the next part to be the midterm exams, but wasted no time! So we still got several episodes left of Spy Family, but this episode was absolutely wonderful. So I hope you all enjoyed it because I did. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts down below. So please no spoilers, but I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care. And yeah, I will be back very soon with more Spy Family. Bye.